Hi, do you work at an assisted living or senior living company? And are you looking for proven ways to find residents and fill your staff openings? If so, then welcome. You are in the right place. And that's if you're a senior living or assisted living business owner or operator, or maybe a marketer or a salesperson at a senior living company. If you're struggling to get your marketing to work for you or for your company and to prove that it does, if you're having some success but you want to take it to the next level, and you want to focus on the best opportunities first, and you're wanting to measure the results of your marketing, if this is you, then listen carefully. If not, go ahead and skip the video. But if you are in this field and you're looking to get more residents and or more staff, pay attention. So, have you been doing things the hard way? You might be letting units sit empty when they could be generating revenue and profit. Are you struggling to find good candidates to fill your staff openings? And are you forking out large referral fees like $4,500 or more to places like A Place for Mom upon move-in? Paying someone to attend community events and kind of shake hands all the time without a clear payoff, right? Sending someone out in the community and you're not seeing the return on that. Are you spending a ton of money on ads without knowing what results you got? And are you hiring expensive experts and still not getting anywhere? Are you having trouble filling your census or getting all the residents you need in your units? Are you having trouble filling the job openings that you have? Are you creating social media posts that almost nobody sees or engages with? And are you scrambling to come up with newsletter content if you're trying to blog or send out email marketing? Well, do you want the easy way that works better? If so, then this is the presentation for you. So what if you could do the following? Drive consistent leads that turn into private pay clients or move-ins for a fraction of the usual cost. What if you could hire new and better staff by reaching job candidates right on their devices where they spend most of their time? How about targeting resident families with the right message at the right time so they can move in their loved one to your units or to your location, right? How about build a list of resident family members who recommend you to other people? And what if you could just focus on 1 to 3 marketing channels that work and actually measure the results of your marketing and ad spend? So why listen to me? My name is Egan Heath. I started and I've run my digital marketing agency since 2016. So I've built a team of 15 full-time digital marketers with my business partner who I just joined up with this year. And I've driven measurable results for hundreds of clients and specifically 4 senior living companies just like yours. So some of the case studies we'll be talking about today, Milestone Senior Living had 9 locations. They went from 82% occupancy to 95.5% in just 9 months. We'll also hear about Copperstone Assisted Living. They went from 40% to 90% occupancy in just 8 months. And then Sienna Crest had 10 locations in Wisconsin. They went from 80% to 90% occupancy in 18 months. So we've done this for other companies just like yours, and we're going to talk about how we did it. So in this process, we've learned to do a lot of things right, but we've also learned a lot of things wrong that you don't need to do, right? So lessons learned after doing this, I'll say digital marketing for clients, marketing their businesses online for about 8 years and doing it for over 200 clients. Well, here's the good news. You don't need to be on every channel. You don't need to be on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube and TikTok and Snapchat, right? You just need to focus a few places. But you do need to set your foundation first before you go working on, say, your online ads or your search engine optimization, which is how you show up at the top of Google. Websites don't work particularly well for lead generation, so we'll talk about an alternative that works better. And obviously, messaging matters as much as anything else. When the families are online and they're looking at your ads or your marketing, they need to know that you're speaking to them and you care about what they care about, right? So here are my goals for this training today. I want you to believe that you can grow your senior living company through smart online marketing. And I want to inspire you with specific examples. I'm going to share ideas that you can use for your company. And at the end, if you'll stick around, I'll tell you about how we can help you do the same to fill your senior living units or fill your staff openings. So we're going to go over 3 secrets today. You ready? The 3 secrets. You can actually start getting leads and move-ins faster and cheaper as soon as tomorrow. Fill your staff openings this way too. And then you can nurture people who aren't ready yet with automatic follow-up marketing. So let's start with secret number 1. How can you actually start getting leads and move-ins faster and cheaper as soon as tomorrow? Are you ready? We're going to share some example stories here from Milestone Senior Living and Copperstone Assisted Living. So this was Julie Heil from Milestone Senior Living. She was the chief operating officer, and they had 9 facilities or 9 locations across Wisconsin and 1 in Minnesota. I should say 8 in Wisconsin, 1 in Minnesota. They were at 82% resident capacity when they started their occupancy, and then they noticed they didn't show up for assisted living for seniors. And Julie asked around with her website person and said, hey, we're not showing up. And they said, go talk with Egan and his team because he helps with that. So what we saw when we Googled for assisted living for seniors is a whole bunch of ads. You can see this little word ad right here. So we can see these are the sponsored results, and we would have to scroll below these to see the organic or the SEO results, right? So these are all pay-per-click ads. And here I see a place for mom and a couple other places, right? So what we started doing was running ads for them, and would put a pin on the map and maybe have a little radius around each of them. So for Cross Plains, for example, if people Googled senior living, assisted living, memory care, things like that, they could actually see this ad and click to it and learn more. And by the way, over a fifth of people in the U.S. use Bing instead of Google on desktop. So we checked out assisted living for seniors on Bing, searching there. So if someone's on, a Windows computer, they might be using Microsoft Edge and then using Bing, they would see this, and we saw there weren't even any ads. So we started running ads here as well. And what happened? So this is a recommendation from Julie on my LinkedIn page. You can see if you want. And I'll skip ahead to the main part. She says, our company increased SEO traffic up 50% from March to June. Maintain that traffic. Plus, we added another 600 to 800 website visits from Google Ads and Bing Ads. In addition, Egan and his team are tracking calls, emails, contact form submissions, applications, number of clicks for directions from our website, and making changes to the website to increase leads. So within 9 months, how did Julie and Milestone Senior Living do? So first, we actually started measuring website visitors and leads. We could do this with Google Analytics or another tool. And we saw we had another 600 to 800 additional visitors to their website every month, which led to a huge upsurge in leads. So we were running ads on Google and Bing like you saw, and by doing this, their occupancy shot up over 95.5%. And remember, they started at 82%. It took just 9 months. The owners sold the business, and what about Julie? She retired and moved to Florida. Nice, happy ending there, right? And after this, we joined Wisconsin Assisted Living Association, or WALA, and they became a client of ours as well. And I started speaking at their conferences. And shortly after that, I heard from another one. This is Aaron Barrett from Copperstone Assisted Living. So good morning, Egan. My wife and I are developing, and as of spring 2021, we'll be in operation of a CBRF near Neenah, Wisconsin. I'd love to get on a call and discuss options to see how we can work together, yada, yada, yada. We really enjoyed your discussion at WALA, okay? So he saw me speak. I spoke about what you just heard about Milestone. He said, we'd like to do the same for Copperstone. How do we do it? Well, we ran some Google ads, and we built him a dashboard so he could see how much money he was spending on them and what kind of results he was getting, right? So you can see on the left here, just as an example, like on a smartphone, if someone searched for senior living around Neenah, Wisconsin, they could see him. Sometimes he would show it as the top ad, sometimes it'd be the second ad, but it'd be senior living in Neenah. There you go. And he got a cost per lead of $63. So that's someone filling out a form or calling him on the phone. And so it's important to think about, what is your close ratio? How many leads does it take you to get a sale? Let's do a little math here. So if 1 out of every 10 leads closes, that's modest. You probably do better than that. But let's just say it's 10%. That means we need 10 leads like this to get one move-in or one new senior living resident, right? So 10 times that cost per lead would be the cost for that move-in. So in this case, a 1 out of 10 close ratio, or 10%, what does a move-in cost? Well, if leads are $63 by Google Ads and Bing Ads, right? 10 times 63 is $630. And I know for many of you, when you're charging even for that first month rent, it'll be north of that. It'll be north of $5,000 per month. I know some people are starting at $3,500, $4,000 a month. It depends on where you're at and what the scope of service is. But this is not bad, and this is often much less than people pay. So when you pay a referral agency, like say a Place for Mom, they may charge $4,500 or the first month's rent or whatever it is. Notice you can do it for much less when you run ads on Google. So 7 move-ins from Google for the price of 1 from a referral agency like a Place for Mom. You can see how this is a much more efficient way to market, and you could fill up those units much more quickly. But could you do even better? I think so. So we talked about the price of Google ads and what cost per lead ended up being. Let's take a look at Facebook. So here are some Facebook ad examples for that same client, Copperstone Assisted Living and Memory Care. We could see one on the left, right, with a happy resident review, a resident family review right there. You can see people actually at an event there. So we see actual people, not just stock photos, right? Here's another one of an actual band they brought in, right? And it's kind of some of the perks of being there. They've got the chapel, they've got the salon, they've got the coffee bar, so on. We really need to sell it because people want to stay in their homes as long as they can, right? We want to know, are we going into a good place? Is there going to be community? How's the food? How's the social life? Things like that. So we need to conjure that to mind with some good examples and, you have a video or an image on Facebook itself. Now, when people click on these, I recommend taking them, like I said, not to the website necessarily, but rather take them right to a form. So you can do this with lead ads or lead forms right inside Meta. And Meta owns Facebook and Instagram, right? So you can see people can fill out their full name, their phone number, their email. You could ask for more information if you wanted to as well and collect the leads that way. How did this go for Copperstone? Well, we can see they got in this time frame here. So they spent just under $1,000. They got 24 leads. That brings it to just under $40 per lead, which is phenomenal when you're selling, a service or a place to live that's $5,000 to $10,000 per month. That's excellent. So here we go again. If a move-in from a place for mom is the first month's rent, whatever that happens to be, we'll call it $4,500. We could do better. We could get a new resident for $630 from Google Ads from what we saw. And what about Facebook? How about $400 for a new resident? That's excellent. That leaves you even some margins there, some profits, even that first month of rent, which is not the case when you go through a referral agency. So you could get 11 move-ins from Facebook for the price of one from a referral agency like a Place for Mom. So how did Copperstone Assisted Living do? They went from 40 to 90% occupancy in 8 months, and they completely filled their assisted living units. I'm going to see if we can play this video, and we'll see if you can hear it. Otherwise, I'll edit it in. Let's give it a shot.
I think we were at about 40% occupancy, which is not a rate that we can sustain on a profitability level. Now we're at 90% occupancy, and now just cranking to get that last final 10%. So but it's been a great metric, and it's taken me from staring at the bank book every month to actually focusing on quality measures for our residents and for our community.
All right. Well, I love just the full circle there of he initially reached out after seeing me speak at Walla. We worked with him for even just 8 months there, and you saw the sort of results that was able to help drive. So let's review on secret number 1. You can start getting leads faster and cheaper as soon as tomorrow. And how do we do that? We could potentially run ads on Google Ads, on Bing Ads, and maybe on Facebook and Instagram ads as well. All right, secret number 2. You can fill your staff openings this way too. Remember that? We don't just need residents. We need people to work with those residents, right? So here's another client of ours. This was Sienna Crest Assisted Living. You see they had a nice career page on desktop here. They've even got someone on video who's an employee talking about why they love working there. They've got kind of spelled out in bullet points about competitive salaries and benefits and so on. And then they can view the careers or the particular openings they had, right? Now, one thing to consider is if we're advertising online, at least half the people are going to be on their smartphone, and even more than that will be if they're coming from, say, Facebook or Instagram, right? So it's very important to make sure this is excellent on mobile. Here's a screenshot from a smartphone. It may not be totally as nice as the desktop version, but we want to make sure it's a good experience and that people can go through the whole process that way, right? And from there, we ran ads on Facebook. And you can see, become part of a dedicated and supportive team at Sienna Crest. Here's a happy employee with one of their residents. Apply for a rewarding career. And just look how many comments and shares this got. So it shows up as though someone's just kind of scrolling through their feed, spending time on Facebook. You can see it does have the word sponsored in there. So this is an ad. No one needs to follow your page. We can just say, we want to reach people in our area, right? So you can just do a radius around your town or city, wherever you're trying to hire. How did this go? So you can see we got 157 leads over the course of this campaign. They've got different ads in there, so that was one of them that you saw. But 157 leads at under $18 per lead, $17.59. So you can get a lot of job candidates this way and follow up with them, interview them, and hire the good ones, right? Now, I want to say a word about multi-step forms and what we call marketing funnels, right? So here's an example of a training like this, but you could do it for hiring as well. So if someone wants to watch a presentation like this, I might show them this, but if they're on mobile, sign up to watch the free training. I ask for first name, last name, phone, email, right? And then they could watch it there, or I send them an email. They could watch it later, just like this. And then they could potentially apply to work with us, and I can ask them more information. I recommend doing the same thing for job openings. Don't make people, fill out their full resume or attach a resume because they're going to be on their smartphone. They're not able to do it from that device. So make it easy to just get some basic information and then follow up with some automated messaging. So that's secret number 2. You can fill your staff openings this way too. Get a lot of great candidates and a lot of great leads for your job openings by running ads online, such as on Facebook. So we are ready then for secret number 3. I'm ready. Are you ready? Here we go. So you can nurture people, and it could be potential residents or resident families, or it could be staff, right? Maybe they're not ready today, but you can send automatic follow-up marketing, and they can get back when they're ready, right? And you'll be amazed how well this works. So here's something we call the value ladder, right? It's almost like going up some steps. So for many of us in our businesses, we have services or products or experiences or what have you at different offerings, right? And so for you, this might be sort of the initial, maybe the adult day program is down here. If someone moves in for assisted living, that costs a little more, right? And then when they need full-blown memory care, that's going to cost more as well. And here's the beautiful thing about business. This is my favorite thing. You ready? This is how much value people receive. If you're running a good business, the money is worth less to them than the value you're providing at each level. So that's just phenomenal. I love that part about business. If you've been doing this for a while, you're not getting too many complaints, right? Or you're able to fill your units most of the time or keep people mostly happy. Obviously, there's always complainers and things like that, or situations that come up, I know, particularly in senior living. But in general, if people are happy, they're getting more value for their money than they're spending, which is great. So that's all sales. What is marketing? I suggest good marketing is this part right here. Get them some free value, right, before they even have to spend money. So if you're watching this training, you haven't had to spend any money with me, right? You didn't have to pay me to watch this. This is a free training, and I'm hoping that some of you will watch this and say, hey, potentially we could hire this guy and his team, and then we start the transaction, right? But the idea is give people some value, build up some trust before they ever spend money with you, and so when they want some more value, they just take a little step up, rather than if we don't do marketing, we're just trying to sell them. It's like we've got to establish that trust and say there's value there before they've even received value. So give value before people ever receive it from you. I love that. So here's an example. Just download a free, guide to initiating the senior living discussion. Obviously, it's difficult to get your parents or your parents-in-law to move out of their home, but this is kind of a way to get the conversation rolling. So what's a lead mag? This comes from a book called Magnetic Marketing by Dan Kennedy, and now a lot of marketers use it, right? So it's something free that you give to your sales prospects. It could be a chance for them to learn more. And importantly, it's an alternative to just like an uncomfortable sales conversation or a free consultation that everyone knows is actually you're gonna be talking to a high-pressure salesperson, right? So it's a chance for you to stay in touch with people who aren't ready to have the sales conversation yet, right? So that's the whole idea. So what are some lead magnet ideas for senior living or assisted living? How about this? A buyer's guide, what to look for in a senior living facility. I love this. If people have never, purchased your service or your product or your place to live before or rented like that, then you educate them. How do you choose, right? How do you select it? How about the checklist? What to have ready when moving your family member into senior living or assisted living? How about an ebook, like a little PDF guide? Everything you need to know about assisted living for your loved one. Because one of the things we learned from Julie was that it's often the daughter or the daughter-in-law who's the decider. So it's not just a place for mom. It's not just, your mother or your grandmother who's going to make the decision. It's often the family, so we need to market to them and educate them, right? How about a video or webinar like you're watching right now? How to prepare to move your family member into senior living, right? How about a calculator? How much will it cost? Well, obviously there's some variables. Help them, plug in their numbers to get a sense of what is that going to look like. So from there, we can generate a list of people who are interested in what you offer and start providing them value. Remember those first couple stairs on the value ladder or the value stairs, right? It's like we want them to get the green part, which is value. Okay, how about email marketing? So we talked earlier about Google ads, Bing ads, Facebook and Instagram ads, right? What about email marketing? Where does this fit in? So why do it? Most people leave your website without contacting you. A good website conversion rate is 5% plus. Yours is much likely much lower because that's normal, right? So average is more in the 2 to 3%. And that means most people leave without contacting you. They don't become sales leads. And not everyone is ready to make a buying decision right now. So we need to capture some of them. Or we need to continue to market to them and stay top of mind because they may not make the decision this month or this week, but they could in the future, months down the road, right? And by the way, you want people to buy from you again. So when their other family member comes up or when someone asks, hey, where would you move your mom into? You want them to mention you, right? So this is a great way to build trust, authority, and liking by educating people on how to shop, how to do this, how to have these hard conversations with your mom or dad or your mother-in-law or your father-in-law, right? Oh, and by the way, when you do marketing, advertising costs money, right? So if we have to advertise every single time we're bringing people to our webpage or our website or our web form, right? It's like that we're gonna spend a lot of money on marketing just to keep bringing people back. Versus once they get on our email list, we can be using an email tool and send them messages every month or every week or what have you. Here are the downsides of an email newsletter. Now, obviously, I'm a big advocate of email marketing, but from the marketing team's perspective or from the business owner's perspective, you have to keep coming up with content. If you're trying to send a monthly newsletter, right? Like, what do we even write about this month, right? But here's the bigger reason. This is the problem. And this is not from the marketer's perspective or the company's perspective. This is from the sales prospect's perspective or the family, right? So anybody who subscribes to your email list is at a totally different point of their buyer's journey. So imagine if we walked into an organic chemistry class in college, many of us would probably struggle. If we went into a big lecture like this, it would make our head spin. It could be too complicated for us to just jump right into that if we haven't been doing science for a while or been in school for a while, right? So we got to bring people back to kindergarten. We got to keep it nice and simple. We got to start from the basics, just like we would if we were having a conversation face-to-face with a family, right? So when people join your email list or subscribe, you can educate and sell them in a logical series, just like you would if you were having a conversation, right? So here are the upsides of having a lead magnet followed by an email sequencer series, right? So your prospects can learn more about the problems they're having, the frequently asked questions they have, the choices and the benefits of what you offer, how to pay for it, what the cost will be, so on and so on. Not to mention what makes you different and why they should move in to your senior living facility, right? So they receive the information in the order they would need it to make a decision, just like if they were talking to a salesperson. They don't have to commit to a sales conversation before they're ready. They don't want to feel like they're being pressured or anything like that. They just want to learn a little more. And by the way, when new people join your list, they aren't baffled by whatever thing you're sending out here in the month of April or October or December or whatever it is, right? It's like they are starting right from the beginning, right? Kindergarten, not college organic chemistry. So your email open rates, your click rates, and by the way, your sales conversion rates, which is the part we want, are going to increase. And by the way, when you build this once, you can just set it. I won't say set it and forget it, but you can automate it, set it up, and let it work for you after you've set it up, right? So rather than having to scramble to come up with new content for the newsletter every single month, we can set it up once, tweak it a bit, and it's working for you. So if you are doing email marketing, you probably know that a normal open rate is about 20%. So if you send to 1,000 people on your email list, assuming they're all opted in and they want to be there, right? It would be about 200 out of 1,000 who would open that. So here's an example. This is for my own business. This is one I ran years ago. It's just a free SEO checklist. SEO stands for search engine optimization. It's how you get found on Google. I would just ask for people's name and email, and I had a little video of me talking about what it was. And then I would send them a series of emails. And notice the open rates here. So in that first one, it was 57.5%. And after 6 emails, what's holding you back from learning SEO? They were still at 37%. So that's almost twice a normal open rate. And that's because they're in this process. They want to learn about SEO and how to get found on Google. And so as I'm sending them an email, you can see after 1 day, after 2 days, another 2 days, 3 days later, like in the course of a couple of weeks, I'm sending them 6 emails. You may not want to do that to your full list, but someone who just signed up and is asking questions, that can be a great time to send them a series of messages and really stay in front of them. And so, by the way, does this lead to leads? I always say yes. These are 2 different emails I got. Somebody got on that SEO checklist list. They said, hey, by the way, do you guys do website development? Oh, yeah, we do. And we entered in the sales conversation to build 2 websites for them. Here's another one. Said, I reached out a while ago. I wasn't ready to invest in search engine optimization. Now I'm ready to. What's the next step? Phone call or meet in person. There you go, right? So people who are on these lists do reach out in the future, either while they get that sequence or from your email newsletters. So there we go. Secret number 3, we can nurture people, and this could be for potential staff or potential resident families who aren't ready with automatic follow-up marketing, which we can build it once, and it can continue working for us. Pretty sweet, right? What do you think? Are you excited? Could you see implementing this or having this working for your senior living company? So today we talked about proven ways to grow your assisted living resident occupancy, fill those units, and fill those staff openings. And I'm Egan Heath, the owner at Asymmetric Marketing. So let's review our 3 secrets here. You can actually start getting leads and move-ins faster and cheaper as soon as tomorrow by running smart advertising on Google, on Bing, on Facebook, and maybe Instagram, right? And what about our staff openings? How do we fill those? Well, we can do a similar thing by advertising on Facebook and Instagram that we've got a great place to work here, and you may want to apply right from your smartphone or at least start the process, right? And then we can nurture people who aren't ready yet with automatic follow-up marketing. We can get their name, get their email, and continue to send them a series of messages so they don't forget about us. And then when they're finally ready to move their mother or their mother-in-law in, then they contact us because we've educated them through the whole process over the course of could be months and even years, right? But how do you implement all this, right? This is quite a bit of work. We've covered a lot today. If your head's swimming, I'm not surprised. Don't worry. I wanted you to see actual examples and get inspired. So after a training like this, I see 4 options. One is you could do nothing. You could not benefit. Your units and your job openings remain unfulfilled, right? And that's not good for your company, right? So I recommend not just watching a training and then doing nothing with it. We need to do something with it, right? You could try to learn and implement it on your own. I can tell you this is going on 8 years doing this for me as of today's recording. It takes a lot of time to learn how to set up and do all these things right, okay? So you could try to do it on your own. It definitely takes hundreds of hours, especially to get to that piece of what was our cost per lead, what was our cost per move-in, right? You could take a risk on, say, a marketing consultant or an agency that is generalized, but they don't work with your industry specifically, and they haven't worked with companies like yours for proven results. Or obviously, the reason that I am giving this presentation and hoping it's helpful to you is that you could hire my team and we could set it up and run our proven systems for you, and you could fill your staff openings and or your resident openings that way. So if you're interested in that option and you'd like to have a conversation, you can book a call with me. I'm Egan Heath from Asymmetric Marketing right below. So there should be a link down on this screen or somewhere down below here where you can sign up and get on my calendar. And I'd love to have a conversation with you about how we can fill your resident occupancy out and fill your staff openings as well. I hope this was a valuable training. I hope you got some great ideas, and I hope to talk with you very soon. All right.